Skitty! Yo, what up? It's your boy. Alright, man, so let me tell y'all about this situation that happened last night where I had this debate with this pretty much feminist, masculine, free-spirited, confused, delusional 36-year-old woman that I had met. Kind of the backstory. I met her on Saturday and was actually supposed to meet up with her this Thursday. Now, if you guys want to hear how I met her and how that conversation went, it's on Buy Me a Coffee, so y'all make sure y'all check that out. Buy Me a Coffee is the audio Infield. A lot of these women that y'all see me with are on my channel, or even sometimes I give story times about. You can hear the whole interaction of how I met them on Buy Me a Coffee. So even the whole thought process of me meeting a woman on Saturday and meeting her on Thursday is possible. So, you know, that was the whole conversation that we were having in the meantime. But as I met her, it was all good. And as I said, the audio is there to where y'all can hear how I met her. It was a really good vibe, really good conversation. I got her number, and actually 5 minutes after getting her number, we continued to conversate. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. I think this is gonna be a cool chick instead of just getting a number and running away. So the issue is the red flag started to show over text. One of the issues is miscommunication over text. This is the importance, I'm gonna repeat, the importance of making your intentions clear, making your approach clear, and actually vibing out with the woman as much as you can when you meet her. Because a lot of guys base their success off, did you get the number or not? And I'm telling you, that is a big mistake. The reason that's a big mistake is women will give their number to a lot of dudes, but that doesn't mean that they actually want to see you again. That doesn't mean that they want to hang out with you again. That doesn't mean that they're going to text back. That literally just means, here's my number, whatever. That's just how they think. So the importance in, as I've said, guys, check out the audio so that y'all can hear the conversation that we had. That was the good thing, but she started to feel like I was trying to control her over text. This was the first red flag. Now, the reason she thought that is because the place that we were supposed to meet up on Thursday was supposed to be Dave & Buster's. That's a spot that I like to take a lot of my chicks. The reason for that is because I have a card that has a bunch of points on it. If you guys are familiar with Dave & Buster's, it's kind of like a arcade type place. It's not necessarily like kiddie arcade games, but it's all type of games for adults, and it's also a restaurant and a bar in there. So it's fairly close to my house. Honestly, if it wasn't close to my house, I don't think that I would ever pick there, but it is a cool little spot for you to vibe out with the woman, for you to see her, how she interacts with other people around, and she can see how you interact with other people around. If you want to get a drink at the bar, or if you want to get some food, that's a possibility there. But it's also a place where you can sit down and actually conversate, but also have an interactive date, an interactive first meetup. So I picked that place a lot. But the red flag that I had with her is that I didn't want to tell her instantly, because she's the one that threw it out there, like, so when are we going to hang out? Because we text over a while and things were cool, but this is another importance of not over texting women. I can learn from all of these things, and I can share this with you guys, is that you don't want to over text, because at a certain point, the vibe that y'all created in person, it can start to die out, and now you're creating a whole new vibe over words in a text message that can be miscommunicated because it's just words. And women, you know, they don't take those lightly all the time, especially if you're trying to be kind of playful or joking over text. They may not take it the same way that you did. So she throws out the word controlling, which kind of lets me know, okay, this is a level that women have. They will throw names out at you because they don't really know what else to say to paint the picture. She literally thought I was trying to control her because I didn't want to tell her too soon where I wanted her to meet me at. She wanted to meet me at the park. I didn't want to meet at the park for a couple reasons. One, it's cold outside. Two, it's far away from my house. Three, that would have been the place that she wanted to meet up at, so that's automatically putting her in the more dominant role and me in the more following role. And women, whether they want to admit it or not, they want you to lead. This is why a lot of men say this, and you guys just gotta trust us when we say this, is that women want you to lead. They don't want you to be like to where they have no say in it, but they do want you to know where, when, why, how are you going to meet her, and where you're going to take this interaction. So I told her that I would tell her the day before, and yesterday was Tuesday. I ended up giving her a call because I saw that it was a lot of miscommunication over text, and I ended up telling her, okay, cool, I just wanted to meet you at Dave & Buster's. She says that she doesn't like the game selection at Dave & Buster's. This was another red flag. How do you not like the game selection at Dave & Buster's? There's a ton of games at Dave & Buster's. But as I've told you guys, the core of meeting this woman at Dave & Buster's is not necessarily for the games, although that is one of the things that Dave & Buster's is centered around, is the games. But it's also to just see how she moves with other people. As I said, we could have sat there and got a drink. We can talk. If necessary, could have got some food. So it's not necessarily just about the games, but her mind was centrally focused on, I don't like the games at Dave & Buster's. So I'm like, okay, you know, I'm starting to catch the vibe that she's one of these picky for no reason chicks. Hop on the phone with her, and as we're talking, this is another level that women do. A lot of people in this space call it a shit test. I just call it a level. I actually call this level 1. Shout out to Patrice O'Neal. This is just one of those things that you know women are going to do at a certain point, especially if you're not just agreeing with everything they say and they're not agreeing with everything you say. It's called name calling. So notice how she hit me with the controlling, and then she had the nerve to say that she thinks I'm sexist. Now the reason she thinks that I'm sexist, and come on guys, you guys know that I always talk positively about women, and the whole point of this video is to talk positive about women as well. It's just to give you guys a story time and to let you guys know some things that you can learn from this interaction that I had with this pretty crazy in the head woman. So one thing you can learn is never argue with women. I didn't argue with her. I don't yell. My voice tone was the same as it is in these videos. It's not it's not even necessarily a purpose to debate with a woman, but you can communicate with them even if it's a disagreement. So whatever you want to call that, but don't argue, don't get emotional with them, and don't even do a serious debate with them, because they're going to start pulling things out like name calling, like controlling, like sexist. Now the reason she thinks that I'm sexist is because I basically started explaining to her that I feel like a lot of women don't know what men want, but a lot of men study and take the time out, even as a young man, to understand what women want. So just from that comment, she's like, you sound sexist. That's another red flag that lets me know that she has some internal issues that needs to be worked on. Another issue is she starts to compare me to her ex. Now, what's funny is, you guys can hear this in the audio, apparently her and her ex had just recently broke up about 3 weeks before I met her. You know, I met her this past Saturday. So she starts to say that he was a narcissist and he was this and he was that. And you know, I'm not big on having this full-blown conversation about women's past situations, but I will tell you guys, if women start to bring up their past situation and they're talking negatively about that, don't be oblivious to that. So I know some guys will be like, don't ever talk to a woman about the past man and her past situations, but I pretty much disagree with that. I'm not here to be her shoulder to cry on about how the last dude did her or anything like that, but I will listen and pay attention, because for one, that lets me know what type of dude she deals with, and for two, it lets me know how she has an outlook on men in general. So a lot of ways people act is because of their past experience. The way this woman acts is because of her past experience with men. And stay tuned to this video, because I'm going to get to that in a minute, on how she basically exposed everything and gave me the true reason that she interacted with me the way that she did. So another thing that she didn't like that I did was pretty much describe the role of a male and a female, you know, masculine and feminine. Now, I'm going to point something out real quick. Like I said, this is a fairly new chick that I met. But the difference between me and a lot of guys is that I could really give a F if I quote unquote get this chick or not. One, because I already got a lot of women that I'm dealing with. So any new chick that I deal with, if she's not coming pretty much full blown on the program fairly early, then I feel like I'm wasting my time. And two, I'm not just interacting and meeting women just for sex. I need to really see where their mind is at, really, before I even meet up with them in public. Because if, you know, as I talk more and more to this chick, and I realized that we had so many different beliefs and so many thought processes different, it was a lot of stuff that we didn't find in common. This pretty much lets me know that a chick like this, maybe if I didn't have a life or I didn't have any other women, maybe I could find the time to get her in and to try to fix her with all her issues. But honestly, I just don't necessarily think it's worth it. It's a 36-year-old woman. She does look good though. I'm not gonna deny that. I'm not one of these people that's, oh, this ugly chick. No, she was cute, light skinned. She kind of doesn't even look or act like she's 36, but she also has a 15-year-old daughter, and I'll get into that in a minute. So that was another thing, is that she doesn't subscribe to the role that a typical male and female should have. She's like, oh, I think you're generalizing, and I think you're, she doesn't understand context. And I think here was the ultimate thing that let me know there is no chance that me and this woman in particular would vibe out with anything or have anything to talk about or have anything in common. She said this out her mouth. She said that she prefers a more feminine man. Now that doesn't even make sense. Hearing that in the same sentence, feminine and man, if the word not is in the middle, or if the word not is not in the middle, then that sentence doesn't even make sense. So it should be man, not feminine, but any other way that you're putting those two words in the same sentence just doesn't make sense to me. She literally said that. So in my head, and I even said it out loud, I'm like, whoa, okay, so everything that I needed to know was off this one simple phone call that we had for me to say, you know what? You're a cool chick. I wish the best for you. And we talked for a while. I had all type of missed calls. I had like 3 missed calls from other women that were trying to call me, but I put this time out to talk to her. Say, you're a cool chick, but I just don't think that this is necessary for us to even meet up after having this conversation. Now, I will tell you guys a disclaimer. You shouldn't necessarily have these serious type conversations, and it isn't that serious, but you shouldn't try to express everything that you know or your thought process about women when you first meet them. I will admit that. But like I said, my mindset is a little different. I don't really give a F if I get this chick or not. Didn't really care if I meet her out or not. Just for the reality of the life that I'm living now, pretty busy. I already got a lot of quality women in my life, so it's going to take a lot to get a new one in, because the competition and the level and standards that she has to have for herself have to be extremely high. And as I said, she took a lot of stuff that I would say out of context, which I feel like a lot of people do in general. A lot of people will watch YouTube videos or they'll hear certain things and they take it out of context. A lot of you guys need to realize the difference between context, which is something women have a hard time doing. Just like when we talk about hypothetical situations, women have a hard time looking at hypothetical situations instead of just looking at their personal situations and making everything about them. So for example, with out of context and hypothetical, I was talking to her and I was basically telling her that, you know, as far as men, typically one of the main things we want fairly early is sex. She goes into this full rant on, that's so not true. It's so many guys who don't want sex, and I was celibate for about 10 years until my last ex, and I dated guys, and this one guy I dated for 6 years, we never had sex, and blah blah blah. So you notice how she took that out of context. And she's like, you're generalizing men, you generalize women, I think you're sexist, I think you're controlling, I think you're... So these are all the things that just let me know right then and there, now me and this woman wouldn't mesh at all. I'm not here to just say, it's just my way and I don't want to listen to you and I know it all. No, I'm one of these people that can listen to both sides of the spectrum. I can be versatile. I can pay attention to the women, but there's also things that you can't be oblivious to. Just because she got a nice body, she look good, all this good stuff, don't let that control your whole outlook and your whole thought process on the woman. So the last thing that I want to speak on is, as we spoke longer, I realized that she had a lot of trauma, a lot of bad experiences, a lot of abuse, like physical abuse and all that in her past life, which led her to have this thought process that she has of men now. Because although she's calling me controlling and narcissist and all these things, she would say things out of her mouth like, this is why I don't like men, or this is why I can't have conversation with men. And I would ask her, like, so you think at some point you'll just deal with women? And she's on the fence with that. So this is a 36-year-old woman, guys. She's talking about how she enjoys being free-spirited, she enjoys being single, she likes her alone time. All of these things that it's a problem now, you know. In reality, it's literally a problem in this society. I wouldn't even just say in the black community, I would say in this world now, as far as male and female, is that there's a big gap, there's a big misunderstanding because of a lot of confused messages, which I think is the blessing and the curse of the internet. Because you got so many people, you got anybody that can just hop on here and say certain things, and women will subscribe to that. And also you got men that will traumatize women's life so much that they will grow up to have this pure envy, this pure hate, this pure disgust, this pure just whole issue with a whole gender, which is man. And you know, it's vice versa. Some of you guys, we know about MGTOW and all that stuff, where you got guys generalizing all women, thinking that they're all bad, when that's not the case. So this just a quick story time, man. I wanted to chop it up with the YouTube bros, man. Shout out to all the man action. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation in the comments. How would y'all have handled this? Would y'all still be willing to meet up with this woman on Thursday, or would y'all just go ahead and cut her loose? Let me know what y'all think, man. Y'all make sure y'all click on those links below. Follow me on all social medias. Check out the Patreon, check out the Buy Me a Coffee, so you can actually hear the interaction when I first met this woman. It was a good vibe, it was a good convo, everything was good. But as I got to talk to her more, I was like, oh shit, okay, this is how she is. Okay, well, it don't look like we're gonna work. Just let me know what y'all think below, man. Love you guys. Y'all make sure y'all join the channel membership. Got audio and video Infield over there with the camera glasses. So y'all make sure y'all just check it out, man. I appreciate you guys for all your support. I appreciate you for staying to the end of this video. And make sure you smash that like button. Get it! I'm out.